Mrityurma amritangamaya Avir maidhi Rudro jatte dakshinang mukham Te namang pahi nityam Te namang pahi nityam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. And evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. We are very happy today to have Swami Balabhadrananda ji with us. That Swami is our whole Ramakrishna movement is just managed by our monks, and monks elect the trustees, and he is in the trustee board, as also he is one of the executives. This is technical term I am talking, that's the language of the world. But it is the way, that is the way the whole Ramakrishna Sangha moves on under the guidance of our some Swamis. He is one of the vital, he plays a vital role in that. The Swami joined in the Ramakrishna order and in the Institute of Culture with Swami Lokeshwarananda in Kolkata in 1976. And he was as usual, ordained in Brahmacharya, and also in Sannyas ordination is 1986. And he served the Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture for about 3 decades, till 2005. And they were looking after the publication department and youth affairs of the Institute of Culture. And then he was sent to Asansol, and he became the head of that center, big educational institution, in 2005. And after 7 years, 2012, very young age, he was elected as a trustee of the Ramakrishna Math and a member of the Ramakrishna Mission's governing body. And then he has to move from Asansol to our headquarters in Belur Math. And since then, he is there, and now he is the Assistant General Secretary of the Ramakrishna Math and Mission. So, when we heard that he is coming, it was not planned that we will be getting a chance to have him with us, but it happened because he got the visa. Visa was a great obstacle, but ultimately visa was available. So that Swami, in a short period, going to every place to see our centers, have a good idea about activities of our West, how it's going on. And today he will be speaking on the topic spirituality, which is practiced in the Ramakrishna order, how the work is going on and what is the background of that, what spiritual practice we do. It will be nice to hear from this type of person who are engaged in running the show of the whole Ramakrishna order, worldwide Ramakrishna movement. We are proud that we got him here today to address this question, though we are very few in number, but some may be online more. Nowadays, after COVID, it has become a practice that people prefer to be at home. Driving and coming is difficult. So, well, Swami, please come. Swami Balabhadrananda ji.
My respectful pranams to Swami Sarvadevananda Ji Maharaj. My loving namaskars, regards to all the monks and nuns present here, as well as the devotees and admirers of the Vedanta ideals. This is the first time I have come to the West and to the United States as well. This is a pilgrimage for me, because from here itself, from United States itself, we have received Swami Vivekananda in the manner we feel ourselves fortunate to have him. So I am very much happy to be in your midst, and also happy for this reason that I've been able to meet Swami Sarvadevananda ji in person after many years. So the topic of today's discussion, this evening's discussion, is spiritual practice in the Ramakrishna order. What I will say will be nothing new to you. Still, I feel emboldened to place before you, present before you, what I have thought about this, because the definition of truth, or these things substantial, as the Vedantins or the Hindus understand, is in my favor. That the lasting things are the truth, and those can never be new. So it may not be new. Surely it will not be new. But what I will present before you is from what we have read about our holy trio, or the great direct disciples, or what we have been advised by your holy trio and the great direct disciples, as well as stalwart monks of the yesteryears who learned sitting at the feet of either Holy Mother or these great direct disciples. Regarding our spiritual traditions, there are certain basic ideals underlying that. Whatever we practice as our daily spiritual practices, spiritual disciplines, certain ideals are there underlying our daily spiritual practices. Those are, a few of them I will discuss. I'll just mention in the very beginning. First, our ultimate goal is Advaita, as Holy Mother said, that Sri Ramakrishna was Advaitin, not Advaitin. Sri Ramakrishna was Advaita. That is the embodiment of the Advaita truth. As you are means the monks and followers of the Ramakrishna Math Mission are followers of that Guru, you are also Advaitin. So our ultimate goal is Advaita. And we hold the Holy Trio, not only the Holy Trio, as well as the direct disciples, as the embodiments of this Advaitic truth. Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda ji, one day Swami Balabhadrananda ji, great scholar monk, who was at that time in charge of a center in South Calcutta, Gadadhar Ashram, he one day visited Belur Math. And Mahapurush Maharaj would always encourage studies of scriptures. So he asked Vasudevananda ji, what scriptures you are now reading with the brother monks there, sadhus and brahmacharis there? Vasudevananda ji said, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad we are studying now. Very happy Mahapurush Maharaj ji was. Then he said, Mahapurush Maharaj ji was so humble, so egoless, always we know. But pointing to himself, he said, can you study our life? Our lives are the living Upanishads. So our ultimate goal is Advaita Vedanta, Advaita, Advaitic truth, and we hold the Holy Trio as well as the direct disciples, great direct disciples, as the embodiments of this Advaitic truth. Then we also consider the Holy Trio, the Master, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda, as one and the same spiritual principle and the spiritual energy that has descended on the earth for the good of the humanity. Together, they make one spiritual principle, and they played the roles, Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and the Holy Mother, the roles they played were overlapping as well as with some distinction which are complementary to each other. Together, they work for the divine mission for which they came. These three are one in three and three in one. Then, though the Advaita is our ultimate goal, we hold that Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Dvaita are not contradictory, but as complementary to each other. In the life of a sincere and persistent spiritual seeker, they appear one after another, one by one, as various stages of spiritual growth. Then we believe in harmony of all the four yogas and use all of them for our spiritual growth and fulfillment, with a little more stress on the path of Bhakti Yoga for the majority of spiritual seekers, and Karma Yoga based on Bhakti Yoga. As Sri Ramakrishna said, that Bhakti Yoga, for most people, Bhakti Yoga is suitable and more suitable and comparatively easy. And Karma Yoga based on Bhakti Yoga that we follow generally, though Karma Yoga based on Jnana Yoga is also possible. You may remember this example in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that Vyasdev, he requested, he prayed to the river Yamuna, who is considered as a goddess, that if I have not taken anything, please Mother Yamuna get divided. Though only a little while ago he ate kheer and noni, milk, etc. from the gopis. And Yamuna actually got divided and they could cross the Yamuna. So this is an example of Karma Yoga based on Jnana Yoga, because Vyasdeva always considered himself as the Supreme Self. So a little while ago, when he had taken the food given by the gopis, he actually thought that he has not taken, but the gopis would not be able to understand the Vedantic language. These gopis are not the gopis. They are simple women, milkmaid women of Vrindavan. They are not the gopis who played with Sri Krishna, who are considered as the realized souls of some previous ages. They are not like the common village women. So Vyasdeva, when he said to the gopis that I am very hungry, give me something to eat, he actually, generally the realized souls, they do not create buddhi bheda. Thank you. So that common people cannot understand. They do not use such languages. So in their way, the language they will understand. He talked that I am very hungry. But actual truth, in the real language, he talked with the goddess who would understand his state. So this is Karma Yoga based on Bhakti Yoga. This is not possible for common run of people. So in our order, mostly Bhakti Yoga is stressed. Mixture of other yogas are also there, and we do Karma Yoga based on Bhakti Yoga. And last, Bhakti Yoga takes a dogmatic turn. That is why Sri Ramakrishna also has suggested, prescribed Jnana Mishra Bhakti also. Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Bhakti with a little mixture of Jnana, knowledge. Meaning that I must know, a bhakta must know that my chosen ideal is everywhere. My chosen ideal, my Ishto Devata or Ishto Devi, is the Ishto Devata or Ishto Devi, chosen ideals of all these sincere spiritual aspirants. As in the case of Mahapurush Maharaj, suppose he is going to Puri or Varanasi for pilgrimage, he would write, he would say, Prabhu, that meaning Sri Ramakrishna now calling me in the form of Jagannath. Sri Ramakrishna is calling me in the form of Maheshwar, Kashi, Vishwanath, like that. So this is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Yes, my one-pointed devotion will be surely to my chosen ideal, but at the same time, I must not be dogmatic. I must know that he who is Shiva, who is Kali, who is Rama, who is Krishna is my Ishto. Then we believe in harmony of all the four yogas and use yes, this I am discussing. Devotion is Jnana Mishra Bhakti we follow. Then we accept all religious paths as true so long as certain basic requisites like honesty, purity, morality and empathy are not compromised. We also cherish the ideal of a universal religion for the good of this world. But by universal religion, we do not mean that a single religion will be observed or followed by all people of the world someday. No. Swamiji, one of his lectures, he has described it very nicely. He says that this world does not allow anything last which has lost its use or efficacy. Worthless or useless things by natural law of the this world will get extinct. But all the major religions of the world are pretty old and they are all surviving and they are all flourishing also. Their followers are increasing mostly for most religions, for most of the major religions, their followers are increasing also. This proves that they are still useful for the good of humanity. There must be some people whose spiritual hunger will not be satiated without Hinduism. Similarly, there must be some people, surely there are some people, many people, whose spiritual hunger will not be satiated without Christianity or Islam or Buddhism. So, all these religions will stay. But universal religion does not mean that any of these religion, as the followers of some religions, dreams, thinks and tries to that effect, that their religion only will stay and will be followed by all people. So Swamiji says the universal religion means what is said in the Parliament of Religions. It should, the spirit of tolerance and acceptance will be accepted, will be followed sincerely by adherent to all religions. All the followers of all religions would follow that spirit of tolerance and acceptance. What Swami Vivekananda said in the Parliament of Religions, that Christian is not to become a Hindu or a Muslim, or a Hindu or a Muslim is not to become a Christian or a Buddhist. Each has to grow following his own law of growth, but at the same time they should have an open heart to other religions also. They will respect other religions also, and if possible, they will assimilate the good points of other religions and enrich their respective religions. This attitude, when having this attitude is actually the basis of universal religion. These are some ideals which underlie our all spiritual practices. Then here also all spiritual practices require renunciation. Renunciation is required not only for the monks and nuns, it is required at every step for any spiritual practitioner. Swamiji says that renunciation is the law of this life. Morality, the laws, etc., all is based on renunciation. Swamiji says even marriage is renunciation. Renunciation of unchastity. Then Swamiji gives another definition of renunciation, God in every being. In a lecture, Swamiji says that we find in our Upanishad, Tyage naika amritatta manushu. Without renunciation, one cannot attain immortality. As the rishis have said this, it must be true. Then Swamiji says, then what is meant by renunciation? Will you forsake your near and dear ones and go to forest? That only human brutes can do. That is not the renunciation. Swamiji gave a new meaning of renunciation. Actually, that is the renunciation that the householders should strive for, and we monks, though have renounced our hearth and home, actually we are also striving for that. That is the real renunciation. Swamiji says, you have never interacted, you have never seen anything other than God. You have never interacted with anyone other than God. Only God you have taken for this animal, you have taken for this chair, table, and taken for this man or that man. From now on, you see this table, see God first, then you see this table. So discard this world as world and have a deified relook at the world. So this change of our outlook on the change of our view to which we are used to, that is renunciation. So everything is God, every being is God. So these are the things, our spiritual practices are based on these basic principles, and our spiritual practices are aimed also to realize these ideals. Now the sadhana that we have, that we do, practical sadhana, practical spiritual practices that we do in our order, that we have received from our direct disciple. Raja Maharaj used to say that we have cast the mold. You only follow it. You only try to fit into this mold. And this mold, they got from Sri Ramakrishna, Sharada Devi, and Swami Vivekananda. And to this, they have Raja Maharaj Ji and other direct disciples. They have added the experiences, spiritual experiences of their life. And this mold is applicable. This mold is meant for sadhus as well as the householders, lay followers or lay devotees of Ramakrishna order. Because by Ramakrishna order, in a wider sense, is meant the lay disciples also. In 1980, our second convention of Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission were held at Belur Math for 7 days in the last week of December. And its proceedings are available in our libraries. At that time, Swami Balabhadrananda Ji was the president. Swami Bhuteshananda Ji was one of the vice presidents, and Swami Hiranmayananda Ji was general secretary. Many deliberations were made, but these three, Swami Balabhadrananda Ji, Bhuteshananda Ji, and then General Secretary Swami Hiranmayananda Ji, three of them said just this, that though Ramakrishna order, at the core of the Ramakrishna order there may be monks, but actually in a wider sense or in an actual sense, it includes the lay disciples also. So the mold that Raja Maharaj and other direct disciples have laid for us, which they got from Sri Ramakrishna, Sharada Devi and Swamiji, and with the help of their own experience which they have left behind, handed down to us, that is meant for sadhus and the devotees, lay disciples alike. So our daily sadhana, spiritual practices, actually comprise these three things: japa and meditation, then shraddha or reading religious books or scriptures, and then work and service. Of this, japa and or repetition of mantra is very much, all are effective, it is very important. And initiation from a competent guru is mandatory. Because for everything, to learn anything, we need teachers. And this is a thing that concerns, that we cannot perceive by our senses. This is a thing, the spiritual world is a thing that concerns our inner life. So for this, surely a competent spiritual teacher is needed. And generally, Swami Vivekananda says in the Bhakti Yoga that each soul is potentially divine. So naturally, each soul may attain its fulfillment. Theoretically, it is possible that each soul can attain its fulfillment of his own, but practically it is not possible. It may take time, so much time that it may take several births, repeated births, because if you try to proceed alone, you will do mistake. When you will understand the mistake, you will have to retrace the path, but by that time your one life may be gone. Similarly, repeated long time and uncertainty is involved. So generally it is found. And Swamiji says there is no harm that we receive help from outside for the unfoldment of that potential divinity, dormant divinity. And generally, Swamiji says categorically, Swamiji uses this phrase, quickening impulse. You need a quickening impulse. Boosting, you can say, spiritual boosting. So this quickening impulse does not come from any book or by listening to spiritual discourses even. Sometimes we feel that I am attending so much things. Yes, those are surely helpful. Those are helpful for creating good sanskaras, surely. But ultimately, when the practical spiritual practices, come to the question, at that time you have to receive this quickening impulse from another spiritually advanced soul only, Swamiji says. And then he says, from whom this quickening impulse comes is considered guru, and to which soul this quickening impulse goes, he's called Shishya. So the Diksha is required, and generally Guru transmits this quickening impulse in the form of a mantra. And these mantras, these are very powerful and effective. Swami Ranganathanji, he would explain, like Swamiji, he would explain everything, try to explain everything in a very rational way. So Swami Ranganathanji used to say that these are just like formulas. As we use formulas in mathematics or physics or science, it is just like formula. Just as E equal to MC square represents a very profound phenomena of the physics or science. Similarly, these mantras, they also represent great spiritual truth. So these mantras are very important, and Holy Mother especially, she has stressed on the repetition of the mantra. Even Sri Ramakrishna also says, by repeating mantra, you can develop love for God. And that is only path, surely. Not only japa and meditation, both are required. But even if you concentrate on repeating your mantra only, then also, with all love, with all shraddha, if you go on repeating mantra all the while, then also you can reach the ultimate spiritual fulfillment. So Holy Mother says, I quote from Holy Mother if you want, the mantra purifies the body. Not only body, mind also. Swamiji, Sri Ramakrishna says, it is purifier, Nirmali. God's name is Nirmali, purifier. So the mantra purifies the body and the soul. Man becomes pure by repeating the mantra of God. Once a devotee showed a tiny seed of people tree or banyan tree to Holy Mother and wondered how a giant tree, giant banyan tree or people tree can spring from this tiny seed. Then immediately Holy Mother replied, connecting that to mantra, see how tiny is the name of God. But it is from this tiny name gradually come divine moods, bhav, devotion, bhakti, love and spiritual consummation. That is why we call our mantra the bija mantra or seed, and because it contains the seed of our spiritual fulfillment. Holy Mother says that you should continue, you should do japa and meditation together. Even if you find that, which is sometimes true with us also, most of us, that even if you find that you are repeating mantra mechanically and you cannot concentrate your mind on that, Holy Mother says you go on doing that. You do your duty. This is your duty to, repeat the mantra. And you will find that gradually your mind will be drawn to the object of the mantra, and mind will be unflickering as it is, as a flame of a candle is unflickering when it is protected from air. So Holy Mother says, and he also says, japa and meditation should go together. As one goes on doing japa, one should meditate also once chosen. This is advice to us. My mantra concerns Shiva. So I may utter Om Namah Shivaya, but at the same time I should try to meditate upon the image of Shiva also. So never I am delinked. Never I am delinked from my Ishta Devata, my chosen idol. As meditation becomes good, mantra stops. Again, I have been able to focus my mind on the object of my meditation. Suppose the focus has been wavered, that has been disturbed, immediately I start repeating the mantra. This way, I am never delinked. If we continue, either I am on japa or on meditation, so never I am delinked from my chosen ideal. So this is very much, this we do, all of us we do. And Sharadananda ji, in his Lila Prasanga, in his biography, famous biography on Sri Ramakrishna, that has been earlier, it was translated by Jagadananda ji, Sri Ramakrishna the Great Master. Now it has been translated by Chetanananda ji, Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play. So there he, in one place, he describes nicely how from our daily attempts of japa and meditation, we gradually can go to this ultimate state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Probably you have read that. I am trying, suppose my Ishto Devata is Shiva. I am trying to meditate on Shiva. Trying to see the Sri Ramakrishna may be my Ishto Devata. So I am trying to see the image of Sri Ramakrishna in my heart. I cannot. Sometimes the feet comes, but the face disappears. When face comes, feet disappears. So I cannot concentrate initially. Most people, most sadhakas cannot concentrate initially. But if we persist on that, if we go on, if we continue our attempts, spiritual endeavors, if we continue to try our attempts at japa and meditation, gradually one day we'll find that the entire image comes. Then it comes for once, maybe for 1 minute, even less than that, it goes away. I go on trying, then gradually it becomes steady. The whole image becomes steady. But then also it lies as dry as a photograph. Then I continue. Then it looks living. Then it looks so living that it is talking with me. It is, I can hear, I can see him, I can see him talk, I can see him smile with me in my heart. Then what happens to the aspirant? It seems this inner world is more real than the outer world. Then he gets more and more absorbed. So one day what it becomes, he's improving his in his meditation, in his quality of meditation. So it happens, meditation constitutes three things: dhyan, dheo, and dhyata. Dheo means object of meditation. Dhyata means meditator, that is myself, the aspirant. And the meditation, that I am not eating, I am meditating, I am aware of that also. So while I meditate, we are aware of these three things. Dheo, object of meditation. I am meditating, I am aware of that. And that I am not eating or talking, I am meditating. I am aware of these three things. Gradually, as the quality of my meditation improves, gradually these three things coalesce together. They merge into one another. And at one point, I forget that I am meditating. Meditator forgets himself or herself. Meditator forgets that he or she is meditating. Only the object of meditation remains. Only Sri Ramakrishna is there. He is my object of meditation. Or Shiva is there. Shiva is my object of meditation. Only Shiva remains. So this is called Bhava Samadhi, supreme state following the path of devotion or duality. Here from I go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. How? Shardanji says that I have come to this stage. From the initial stage, I have been drawn by the joy of spiritual life, spiritual bliss. More joy is coming with the advancement, with my advancement in japa, in the quality of japa and meditation. So I am engrossed in the joy, bliss of Bhava Samadhi. My whole being wants more joy. So one day, that object of meditation also is dispelled. How it is dispelled, the aspirant cannot say. When it is dispelled, aspirant perhaps cannot understand. Suddenly it happens that even the dheo is not there. The object of meditation also is not there. Then he goes into the realm of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So, what mantra Guru has given us to the monks and nuns and the lay disciples, that is very important. The way our Guru has instructed us to proceed, that is very important. So, this meditation, daily spiritual practice is very important. This japa and meditation. Then that is not the only spiritual practice. It is said that you have to, throughout the whole day, an uninterrupted flow of contemplation should go in your mind. Nirabachinna toilo dharavat, it should go. But how is it possible? So, our sadhana contains also that part. That part is very important. As every being is God, so all activities, every being is God, deification of this world. There is no human being or anything. Actually, I am interacting with God only. So, whatever work we do, that is actually worship. Whatever service we do, that is actual service of God only. So that we know, the Shiva Gyana Jiva Seva and work is worship, that we have to do. And there is Shraddhayo, reading of holy books and scriptures. So this also should be done. By Shraddhayo, we do not mean, in Ramakrishna order, we do not mean only the studies of scriptures, Upanishads, Gita, not only that, yes, those are required. But for our monastic members, it is mean that you read the lives and teachings of the Holy Trio as well as the direct disciples. This is required. We'll read our literature, I mean, lives of Holy Trio and direct disciples, and we'll go back to scriptures. We'll understand Holy Scriptures in the light of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Sharada Devi. Again, we'll understand Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Sharada Devi and others in the light of Scripture. This way, we have to commute between two always. That we'll have to do. Otherwise, unless we understand, unless we can discover for ourselves that our holy trio and direct disciples are the embodiment of our scriptural truths. We won't be the exact follower of the Ramakrishna order. We will not be able to understand or follow the spiritual practice that is advised by your stalwart direct disciples for the sadhus and brahmacharis and disciples. So that must be there. And shraddha and regular meditation, etc. needed to understand how to convert work into worship, how to convert service as the service of God, service of human beings, looking upon them and living God. That is required. Our monks, this is a speciality with the sadhus of the Ramakrishna order, that they do not say anything openly about the spiritual attainments. If they have seen God, if they realize God, they won't say anything. And if they have not, they will never say that I have. So this is a speciality, good or bad. Good it is with our monks. But we understand from the way of life they live, especially from the way of life our great gurus have lived, that as Sri Ramakrishna said, that they are big logs. Some are like small wooden pieces which can float only alone. Even a sparrow sits on it, it gets drowned. And some are like big logs which can float itself as well as it can carry others also to cross the ocean or cross the river. So our gurus, presidents, vice presidents, and other gurus, surely they have become that big logs because so many people are spiritually helped by them. So in their life we see their life is an example or teacher in such case. If we consider this way, I tend to think, suppose if we take every day of their life, how much time? So two kinds of spiritual practices we do in our Atmanamokshartham Jagadhitaya or ideal. So two kinds of, actually our goal is Atmamukti. Actually our goal is realization of God. But we express it in this way, Atmanamokshartham Jagadhitaya. We try to liberate ourselves as well as we try to do good to the world. To the world, our activities look as attempts to help the world. But to us, our attempts to Atmamukti are surely attempts to Atmamukti. Our attempts to do good to the world are also attempts to have Atmamukti. Both are spiritual sadhana. Our organization is not a philanthropic organization. And then again, this ideal of Atmamukti and Jagadhit is not only for the monks and nuns of the order. It is for the lay disciples as well. So, if we consider this every individual day of the lives of a President Maharaj or a Vice President Maharaj or a Guru Maharaj, then let us see how much time every day they have devoted to the conventional form of sadhana like japa, meditation, shraddha, pilgrimage, etc. And how much time they have devoted to this work and service. We can say Sri Ramakrishna or Swami Vivekananda way of sadhana. If we add throughout their life, we'll see that suppose they have spent, our President Maharaj probably he has spent 70 years so far as a monk of the Ramakrishna order. If we calculate each day of his life in this way, how much he has devoted, how much of every day he has devoted to the conventional form of sadhana, and how much of every day he has devoted to the work or service, then we'll find probably 20 years he has engaged in the conventional form of sadhana, and 50 years he has devoted to work and services. So they have been able to convert work into worship. So that we should do. Every sadhu, every renunciate, as well as lay disciples should be able to do, and that is possible. Since the day we joined the order, we are told by the seniors that this order belongs to Sri Ramakrishna. Whatever you do in this order actually belongs to Sri Ramakrishna. Similarly, Holy Mother also says to the householder disciples that the household belongs to Sri Ramakrishna only. So whatever you do, you will always think that in Thakur's family you are doing Thakur's work. So this way you can convert every work into worship. That we have to do. Otherwise, we will not be able to make considerable spiritual progress in our life. And then there is great efficacy of prayer also. Purity should be maintained. And Mahapurush Maharaj used to say that when you do your japam, before sitting for japam, you should pray to the Divine Mother, because this world, this universe, this creation belongs to the Divine Mother. Your mind also is a part of this creation. So you can pray to the Divine Mother before starting your meditation. Say, Mother, please bless me so that I can have good meditation. This way you can pray anything that we need for this spiritual life, we can pray to Mother. And if you do all these things, will God realization will be ensured. One of our sadhu, Swami Tanmayanandaji, a sadhu of the Ramakrishna order, he asked Holy Mother this question. And the answer that Holy Mother gave might not seem very encouraging, but actually encouraging. So Tanmayanandaji asked, how God is, God could be seen or God could be realized. Holy Mother replied that by His grace only. He thought that if we do our sadhana, if we intensely exert ourselves in spiritual practices, surely God will reveal to us. So he asked this question thrice. By no means, Holy Mother replied, by no means, only by His grace. Thrice she replied this, no, by no means, only by God's grace God can be realized. But afterwards Holy Mother said, but if you do japa and meditation, what will happen? That your senses will be subdued, will never be perturbed by any attraction of the world. So if my mind is totally focused on God, this is because Prabhupada nicely explained this one day in one of his speeches, that this is true. What Holy Mother said is surely true, because we are all essentially God. By our nature we are divine or God. Only because of Maya, that real nature is covered. So this Maya has two aspects. In two ways it deludes us. One is covering aspect, one is distracting aspect. So if you do japa and meditation, that distracting aspect, that vikshepi shakti, that we can defend ourselves against that. So Maya's distracting aspect we can dispel, that power we can dispel, but the covering aspect, Maya will remove the lead on this blazing truth only when she would wish. So this is also not a very small achievement, that my mind is focused. My mind is lying at the feet of God. I am no longer disturbed by anything else. I am full of love. Then my beloved, when he would come face to face before me, that is his concern, but I am full of love for God. That is also a great thing. If I die with my heart full of love, that is also a great thing. Once Swami Bhuteshanandaji Maharaj, he spent some portion of his life in Uttar Kashi in Himalaya in intense tapasya. One day, one of his attendants was asking him, Maharaj, you spent so much time in intense tapasya in the Himalayas. Had you had any realization? Then Bhuteshanandaji said, one day, generally we wait for something startling. God, Thakur came before me or like that. So they are waiting for something like that. But Bhuteshanandaji replied that one day I thought, every day I sit for meditation. That day before sitting for meditation, I thought that today I will not exert any effort on my side to control my mind. Then there were, what happened, Maharaj? Then he said this and became silent. So these Shevaks could not understand what happened, Maharaj. Then I found the mind stayed at the Thakur's feet only. You see, mind stayed. I did not exert any conscious effort on my mind to stay at the lotus feet of the Master. I let it go. You are free to go anywhere. But I discovered that my mind rested at the lotus feet of my Master like other days. So this is whole of spirituality. Everything he has done. This, what Holy Mother says is this. If you go doing japa and meditation sincerely, your state of mind will be like this, that it will ever remain focused on the object of Ishto or object of your spiritual life. Okay? These are what I had to share with you.
We have a few minutes to have any questions.
Pranam Maharaj. My question is concerning organizations outside of Belur Math that are established in Thakur's name. I have in mind like Adyapith or Sri Aurobindo's organization, or even recently Swami Vinayakanandaji's Belur Math. Now all of these were started upon divine revelation. So my question is, do you think it is Sri Ramakrishna's intention to diversify his message, and that in the future setting up new organizations outside Belur Math to preach the Master's message would be on the whole a good thing?
I have not thought about this. I have never thought about this, so all on a sudden I cannot think and tell you. This is the first time I heard such questions, so I'll think about this. But everything is surely God's play that we believe. God cannot be confined. If we follow Sri Ramakrishna, God cannot be confined to any path. Those who say that God can be realized only following us, they actually, what example, they make the king captive. They make the king captive. Isn't it? Sometimes kings are made captive by their subjects also. That is Sri Ramakrishna's teaches, that you cannot put any limit to God. Okay?
Swami, that was a beautiful story of Swami Bhuteshanandaji. What were the circumstances around him divulging such an intimate message? Was it just with you and the Swami? Was it with a close group of monastics? Or how was it that he spoke so freely about something so intimate?
Yes, only his Shevaks were there. I heard it from Swami Sarvabhutananda, who was his personal attendant. He would never disclose. Our Ramakrishna Mission sadhus do not disclose. Generally do not. But to some close ones, they sometimes disclose. As for Nirvananandaji, he was blessed by Swami Brahmanandaji as well as Swami Shivanandaji that he will attain Brahmogyan. So towards the end of his life, he became just like child. So his sevak sometimes would ask, Maharaj, have you attained Brahmogyan? He would then say, yes, I have attained Brahmogyan. And one of the sevak, Swami Natarajanandaji Maharaj, he recorded it. Maharaj, you have heard that? I heard the recording, not uttering. But we have, yes, that we have seen. He's saying that yesterday Thakur came, yesterday Master Sri Ramakrishna came, like that. So somewhat like that. And from his life also, not because of the blessings he received from Swami Brahmananda or Shivanandaji, his life also matched with that. So, questions are always fearsome, I mean, afraid of. There should not be much question, many questions, because everything is there in book. Huh?
Maharaj, we're taught that all forms of work are service to Sri Ramakrishna. But some forms of work are comparatively easy to regard as that. We're taking care of someone, regarding it as Sri Ramakrishna, doing puja, this kind of thing. But then there are other aspects which people have in their lives, things like bookkeeping, things like having to take disciplinary actions. It's much more difficult to think of Sri Ramakrishna happily sitting there while we do this. How does one adjust the mind and keep this ideal in these more difficult areas?
That is practice. That is a practice. You have to impress upon, you have to tell your mind repeatedly. This is also Thakur's work. This is also Thakur's. Once I tell you, sometimes it happens, so correction is required. At Belur Math, one is accountant and another is auditor. Two sadhus, two brahmachari, young sadhus, they are on some, there are differences of opinion over something. Then this great Nirvananandaji told him, drawing their attention to the fact that you are doing this auditing, you are doing this accounting work, both are Thakur's work. It is not accounting or auditing. If you are an accountant only, your monthly salary will be this. And if you are auditor only, your monthly salary will be a little more than the accountant. But you are not so. You are in the service of Sri Ramakrishna. You have to, just as you meditate, you see, we sometimes say, some among us say that they sometimes give this Karma Yoga a lower place. Sometimes we say that Karma Yoga is not so easy. Even Dhyana Yoga is not so easy. If somebody is sitting there in the temple with his eyes closed, what do we say? He is meditating. Actually, he is not meditating. He is trying to meditate. So why don't you give this concession to him or her also who is trying to do Karma Yoga? So religion is being and becoming, as Swamiji says. I'll try sincerely. I'll surely make mistake. During dhyana also, meditation also, we do like the. I am trying to focusing my mind on the object of meditation. My mind goes away to other places. I draw my mind again. So repeatedly try. I do mistake. Through trial and error methods only we progress. So this is the thing. It should be practical. All on a sudden it will not be. That is why it is difficult. It is very worthwhile. That is why, best things are always difficult. But it is worth trying, repeated trying. In every case, any good thing you should attempt repeatedly.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for the presentation. It's very insightful and very captivating. Thank you. The question I have is the idea of Ramakrishna focusing on other religions and having samadhi. What was he trying to prove? Was it because he was trying to tell us every religion leads to God, or he was trying to tell us to inculcate all the other religions into our practices?
Sorry, all religions are God, and what did you say then?
Inculcate other values, incorporate other religions into our spirit.
It may be both, I think. As Swamiji said, Swami Vivekananda expressed what he got from Sri Ramakrishna only. In this last speech at Chicago Parliament of Religions, Swamiji said that not only you will respect other religions, you'll follow the law of growth of your own religion. But if you find anything, you should assimilate the good things of other religions also. So I'll stick to my own religion, and if possible, if necessary, if it is there something worthwhile in other religions also, I will enrich my religions also taking from that. And it will naturally take place. In this present day of globalization, Swamiji said already that myself have not come to create a new sect in the world which is already much too divided into sects. In this religion, no new religion. The avatar of this Sri Ramakrishna did not come to establish any new religion as Ramakrishnaism, because this age is a different age. He is the prophet of this globalized age. So in this age, different religions will shake hands only. And about your question, the Karma Yoga, there are several means we are advised, you also know, that you can go on repeating your mantra while you are doing your japam, while doing your karma.
Not while doing bookkeeping.
Yes, bookkeeping is not bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is not bookkeeping. As Swami Shuddhananda used to say, that when earlier he used to spend night in the worship of Mother Kali. When he would be the editor of Udbodhan, he would say that when I am recomposing Udbodhan, keeping awake whole night or reading proofs, at that time also I used to feel the same joy which I felt while worshipping Mother Kali. Bookkeeping is not bookkeeping. If you look at bookkeeping, that is I cited the example of Swami Nirvananandaji. It is not auditing, it is not accounting. Both are puja of Thakur. Okay, I think it is enough. Huh? So, Maharaj? Question?
No.
No. Because he is the head of this institution.
No.
His question might be very serious.
No. I am to learn also. This is a learning process. So really, we are extremely happy to know the insight of the Ramakrishna movement, how it is working, what is the philosophy. Outwardly, we are all working. We work in the lab. You go to Indian activities. They are going to the hospital, dispensary, working in the sick people and needy people, accounts, then computer and this and that. But it's a wonderful thing to know how this mechanism is working and producing realized souls. And the examples given by Bhuteshananda Maharaj, Sujji Maharaj, Nirvanananda Swami, what he has given, is an eye-opener for us that it is doable and is practical. So thanks Swami for his coming and giving this insight to us. And Swami will be available on Sunday. He will be speaking, but he will have to run for World Parliament of Religions in Chicago, Sunday. So today we'll just greet you quickly and then come on Sunday also to listen to him. And the Swami Tyagananda has come from Boston. Both will get the benefit of their presence here. So thank you, Swami. Sunday, all the devotees who will come will serve prasad for them.